was a matter of time before someone would name the whistleblower associated with President Trump's call to the president of Ukraine. This week, a site associated with RealClearPolitics published a name, and a few conservative outlets followed suit. What's most interesting is how they justified the outing. Real Clear Investigations says the whistleblower is a Democrat who once worked with former Vice President Joe Biden and former CIA Director John Brennan, writing, Real Clear Investigations is disclosing the name because of the public's interest in learning details of an effort to remove a sitting president from office. Real Clear went on to say the status of the whistleblower is complicated by his being a hearsay reporter and because he may have bias in favor of a rival political candidate. At least one right-wing outlet picked it up.
I have the name of the whistleblower today. And see if you can figure out why they're doing everything they can to keep this man's name out of the press.
But while Glenn Beck's assertion that the mainstream media wants to protect a liberal, the whistleblower's lawyer told NPR the conservative media wants to discredit his client.
The whistleblower will add absolutely nothing to the factual equation, which means the only reason why people are trying to out this individual is for partisan, vindictive purposes.
But one thing is for sure. While government cannot name him, the media can.
It is binding on people inside the government. We in the media are under no obligation, legally or otherwise, really, to withhold the name if we find it.
But like everything else, it's a matter of time before it's out in the open. Just to be clear, we're not naming the person because we have absolutely no idea what the person's name is or if what Real Clear Investigations is reporting is accurate, because actually Real Clear sort of couched it and said, oh, this is a name that's widely being circulated, and he had a meeting with Adam Schiff, and we saw him here, and we saw him, and you know, it could very well be the right person, but we really don't know. I'm not being naive. I really believe that the main reason the press has not reported this person to date is because they want to see the process play out. His name will come out. It's not even that important anymore. There's so much more detail that has come forward that corroborates or goes well beyond what the whistleblower said. He's basically irrelevant. He might not even testify. So this idea that the mainstream press is some cabal protecting his identity, I think is bogus.
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, the identity of the whistleblower might have been interesting a few weeks ago, but we've heard so much from Bill Taylor and Admiral Vindman and everyone else who seem to have closer access than the whistleblower did. That I really don't see what the relevance is at this point. Apparently, the story was broken by Paul Sperry. I'm sorry,
yeah,
Paul
he
Sperry.
writes for Real Clear Investigations.
And he is, I mean, I was doing a little due diligence on him.
Me too.
This guy is a major right-wing activist. I mean, he
borderline a conspiracy theorist.
Borderline conspiracy theorist, absolutely. And it's not clear whether he even got it right.
You know, I couldn't agree with you more. I think that this story is so far under the news bridge, it's irrelevant and a moot point at this point. This is just the person who touched this off. This person is not relevant anymore to the story. But more importantly, I think implicit in a whistleblower law and the existence of a whistleblower is we protect this person's anonymity so that we can have future whistleblowers come forward. So I think it's good that we are not tonight saying who we think this person might be based on other persons reporting, and I think it's unethical for other media outlets, contrary to what Bert Hume said, to be reporting that name.
Well, the New York Times did add some details about the whistleblower, that he worked in the White House, they worked for the CIA, and they put out a note saying why they added those details to kind of allow readers to make their own decision. I mean, on the one hand, it's not like this person is undercover, an undercover CIA operative, and their life is in danger, you know, in a dangerous place, which is, I think, would make the situation more serious. But I agree that it's kind of a red herring. I mean, the only questions that matter really are, is it true? And if it's true, is the president's behavior illegal? And I think those are the motivations behind the whistleblower don't actually speak to that.
So a few weeks ago when we talked about the releasing of certain details from the New York Times, I objected to that. I really don't think that the person is a whistleblower for a reason. I'm with you, you know. So let's wait until it is revealed in a legal procedure, if there comes to be one. Otherwise, why would anybody put themselves out there? A lot of the reporting from the white right-wing site says, and he wasn't even in the room, he said that from the beginning. That's not a surprise. But Vindeman was in the room,
yes.
And so there are others who have been in the room and corroborated. I just think that this is bad business, particularly since, as you've said, Emily, it's not quite certain they're absolutely convinced that this is the right person. And it's being put out there as if the reason that he came forward is it's all partisan. Well, Vindeman's hired by President Trump, and he had a different perspective on it, and he was in the room. So there you go.